Hi, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Yoga Church. So, as we make our way over the crest of the autumn equinox, and we dive head first into Vata season, right, governed by the air and space elements. The majority of our practices through the rest of fall and early winter are going to emphasize sequences, poses, body regions, anatomical regions, physiologies that all will calm the vata dosha and combat the erratic wind element. So just a little blurb from David Frawley's book, Yoga and Ayurveda. I read a little bit from this last week, still on regarding vata. And this is specific to vata people. So this would be people with a high vata constitution or someone who might be experiencing a vata imbalance, right? Which in our very distracted culture is probably most people. Vata people require gentle yoga procedures that do not exhaust them. They should only exert themselves moderately. Vata people, listen up. I know you like to push it. They should follow any movement asanas with longer periods of sitting postures. And to control the vata, they should practice pranayama and meditation also. After asana practice, vata should make sure to rest and relax in shavasana. Always. Don't give shavasana the shaft. That's me, not Dr. Frawley. Don't give shavasana the shaft. They shouldn't. This is key, especially for teachers out there. I know you see this in your studios. They should not end their practice abruptly. You know, those people that blaze off right before shavasana, or they can't wait to get out of shavasana and hit the road. They shouldn't end their practice abruptly or hurry off into any disturbing activity. They should come away from asana practice feeling stable, warm, calm, with tension released from the lower abdomen and the hips. Their mind should feel peaceful and emotions should feel steady and grounded with both space and energy for meditation. That's so important for all constitutional types in our current culture that is so driven by beeps and dings and whistles and notifications and vibrations and lights and sounds and lots of music pulsing in the yoga classes. And I mean, sometimes you leave a yoga class and you're like, you're more amped up than you were when you went in. Yeah, so there's that. So today our practice will be a slow flow. If you've got 2 blocks, I would encourage you to use them. If you've got a strap, have it on standby. We'll come to it at the end of the practice, towards the end of the practice. We're going to be on our knees frequently in the beginning. So if you want to have enough extra cushion, a blanket or a low pillow to put underneath your knees, please get one. And you can have that on standby as well. So a slow flow, we're going to emphasize the feet, the legs, the hips. And there's going to be some repetition because vatas need to always come back to the kind of the same theme to stay grounded. And let me close the door. We're going to start sitting. So if you'll get into a seat, Sukhasana, right shin in front of left shin, please. So Sukhasana, a little different than just a classic cross-legged pose that we take here in the States. Sukhasana, I want your shins to be one stacked right behind the other. So right shin out front, left shin stacked right behind it. I want you to put your hands to your knees and gently scooch your knees a little closer together so that your feet are underneath your knees or close to it. And then you can flex your feet. It's almost like fire log pose. We're just not stacking the shins on top. We're putting one in front of the other. Great. And then if you will, bring your fingertips down to the floor. I want you to lift your spine tall, close your eyes. And take a brief inventory of all the pieces and parts of you that are in touch with the floor: ankles, feet, thighs, hips, buttocks, sit bones, fingertips. And use this moment before we start moving to ground the circuitry. A couple of deep breaths in, followed by some slow exhales in order to transition yourself from the activities of the morning to this appointment, this booking that you've made for your body, your mind, and your spirit. And then as you're ready, on an exhalation, I'll invite you to fold forward, hinging at your hip crease. Coming down, you can bring your fingertips out front. You can put your hands on a block. You can rest your elbows on a block and put your head in the palm of your hands. You can stack your blocks up and rest your head on your blocks. Then let's take a few breaths, lengthening your spine, taking your sternum forward out beyond your shins with every inhalation. And then dropping into the sit bones on the exhales. Become aware of what's going on in your neck and throat, your jaw, your mouth. And you can separate your bottom teeth from your top teeth. Good. Now staying low, whatever low is for you, we're going to glide the torso, the upper body over to the left. Bring your left fingertips out to the floor, straightening your left arm. Left fingertips out to the floor beyond your left hip, and then reach your right arm up towards the diagonal, up towards the top left corner of your mat. So we don't need to go really deep into this side bend. More about lengthening the right waist, anchoring through the right hip. Take your outer right hip down. Good. And then inch your right fingertips on the mat up towards the top left corner. Good. Keeping sternum lined up over knee. You can use your left fingertips into the floor to give yourself a little lean into your right hip, lean into your right ribs. Excellent. And then bring yourself back to the center, lining up your sternum over your shins. Draw a deep, rich breath in. Stay here for the exhale, maybe descending a fraction lower if your hips are up for it. And then you can walk your hands back to your mat, lift yourself upright. We'll change the cross of the legs. This time we'll take left shin out front. Stacking the shins, one right behind the other. So tuck that right shin right up against the left calf. Fingertips to the floor on either side of your hips, arms stretched out. Ears aligning over the shoulders and shoulders aligned over your hips. Toggle your lower jaw back and forth a couple times. And then hinging at the hip crease, fold forward, coming down, bringing your sternum right out over your shins. Not so concerned with the depth, how low we go, rather more concerned with the length of the spine. More concerned with the integrity of the sternum, lifting up away from the pelvis, lifting up out of the belly. Lengthening the cervical spine, pulling the ears up away from your shoulders. Very nice, everyone. Excellent. And once again, staying low. Whatever low is for you on this particular side. You're going to gently arc your torso over to the right. Take your left fingertips to the top right corner of your mat. Bring your right fingertips to the floor about 6 or 8 inches from your right hip. Gently pressing into the right fingertips, leaning into your left ribs, dropping deeper into that left sitting bone. Good. You might take your right shoulder back just a little bit. Excellent. And when you're ready to breathe in, use that inhalation to bring yourself back down the center line. Stay there for the exhale. And then give yourself one full respiratory cycle in this forward fold. Adho Mukha Sukhasana, downward facing, easy pose. And then you can slowly lift yourself up. Excellent. Take your time, unpack your legs. Take your legs out, straight down the line of the mat. I'm going to have you pull your right foot up onto your left thigh for a little foot massage. Good. Start with the thumbs, really kneading the sole of the foot and getting in there, getting into the tissues, getting into the fascia, taking your thumbs in opposite directions and getting that skin to move. And you can use your other fingers on the top of your foot. Make sure you get up there into the ball of your foot, into the pads of the toes, get all the way down there into the heel. Move along both the medial and the lateral arches, up and down. Deanne, your cats are cracking me up. Excellent, great. So now you're going to take your left hand and hook your left hand over your right toes. And we're going to go forward and back. So that's door number 1, just taking the hand all the way, cupping over the toes and going back and forth. Door number 2 would be to take your left fingers and thread them between your right toes, index finger between the big toe, second toe, et cetera, and then get a grip and take your toes back and forth. Good, and then do some circles, 2 or 3 circles in one direction, 2 or 3 circles in the other direction. Great. And then take your right big toe between your left fingers and just give it a little roll. Just twirl it around in the toe socket. Just a little, and then the second toe, third toe, fourth, good, and fifth. Excellent. You're going to make a fist with your left hand, and using these knuckles right here, you're going to roll up and down the sole of your right foot. Excellent. Good. And then softly slap. Slap your foot all the way around. Slap the top, the bottom, the sides. Slap the heel, sides of the heels. Get up there on the toes. Slappy, slappy. Awesome. And then take both hands around your right ankle. Pick your foot up and really loose with your foot. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Let your foot and ankle just be loosey-goosey. Great. And then stretch your right leg out next to your left leg. Flex your feet. Spread your toes. And then pull your left foot up onto your right thigh, please. And we'll repeat the process. Starting with the foot massage. Hello. Moving up and down the sole of the foot. Almost like working with taffy, right? The fascia, the tissues often get adhesed, almost like they get stuck and they're so stiff, so tight. And just like those big, giant rectangle bricks of taffy you'd get at the fair as a kid, it takes a lot of kneading and working to soften it up. Great. Now you're going to take your right hand over your toes, cup them, go back and forth, or thread your fingers between the toes. A little yoga handshake, toe handshake. Circle 3 times in one direction, then the other direction. So often our feet are quite literally the furthest things from our minds until something goes askew. Good. And then you're going to wiggle the toes one at a time, just a little chink, 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 chink. And then you'll make a fist. Rub your knuckles up and down the sole of the foot. You might notice where you've got calluses. Notice if this foot is presenting equally to the other foot, or if one foot's got a little more wear and tear on the outer rim. All right, and then we slap all the way around, get the outer heels, tops of the toes, backs of the toes. I like to see it. It's great. Good, everybody. Pick your foot up by the ankle and shake, 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 shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your tootsies. Shake your tootsies. Stretch your left leg down next to your right leg. Flex your feet. Spread those toes. Beautiful. Dandasana. Bring your fingertips to the floor on either side of your hips. Sitting in Dandasana. Feet stay flexed, anchor down through the thigh bones, anchor down through the inner thigh bones in particular. Bring your left fingertips to the floor about 8 inches beyond your left hip. Sweep your right arm up, and just going straight up might be plenty for you this morning. If you want to side bend over to the left, go for it. I want you to stay anchored through your right sit bone, shearing your outer right hip down, but yet lifting your right ribs up and over. Keeping ears, shoulders, and hips in the same plane, please. Awesome. Bring your right fingertips to the floor about 8 inches from your right hip. Left arm reaches straight up as you inhale. Maybe just stay right here or reach over. Left arm over left ear. Check your feet. Notice if your feet went a little pigeon-toed. I want you to lengthen the inseam of your legs, pushing your inner heels away from your pelvis. And keeping feet flexed and toes spread. Excellent. Let's bring both arms up to vertical, please. Dandasana. We're going to twist to the left. Bring your left fingertips to the floor, slightly behind your left hips. Bring your right hand either to your right thigh or to the outside of your left thigh. As you anchor into the sit bones and anchor into the femur bones, lift up through your ribs and sternum. Turn sternum to the left, and then turn your head to the right. Keep an eye on your toes. Excellent. On an inhalation, whenever that occurs for you, sweep your arms up. And here we go to the other side. Right fingertips come to the floor, behind your right hip. Left hand either to the left leg or cross it over to the right thigh. And then look over your left shoulder. Reminding the toes to be active, participate with the rest of the body. Excellent. Let's unwind, take the arms up. Stay rooted through sit bones, femur bones. And then arms come down to your sides as you exhale. Beautiful. Let's come on to hands and knees, please. Get the shoulders and wrists ready for our little flow. From hands and knees, you can have your wrists directly under your shoulders or take them forward a little bit. That's legit. And starting out, we're going to do scalp presses, right? So as you inhale with arms straight, you're going to pull your shoulder blades in towards your spine. And as you exhale, draw your shoulder blades away from your spine. So now the low back and the mid back have nothing to do with this. It's not a cat-cow. I want you to do this 5 times, just hugging those scapula in towards the spine and exhale, pulling away, isolating this move strictly in the scapula. Good, arms stay straight. That takes the elbows and the biceps out of the picture. Excellent. Next up, wrist raises. So again, keeping arms straight. You're just going to peel your wrist and palm up off the floor, but keep all your knuckles down, knuckles and fingers down. And then palms back to the floor and then peel away. Your thumbs will come up with your wrist. That's fine. That's legal. Arms stay straight. Peel up and settle in. Peel up and then settle down. Excellent. Good. Beautiful. Just 5 times. That looks great, everybody. Terrific. And then let's find the cow of cat-cow. Inhaling, arching low back, middle back, upper back, bringing your sternum forward. On the exhale, you're going to drop slowly into balasana, child's pose. Hips to heels, long spine. Inhale, bring yourself forward to staff pose. Shoulders over wrists. Yeah. Upper push-up position and then downward dog as you exhale. Great, that's our flow. We're going to do that 2 more times. On the inhale, hands and knees, looking forward, arching low back, middle back, upper back. Exhale, slow into child's pose. Yeah, good. Dandasana as you inhale, coming forward to staff pose. Strong legs, strong belly, strong back. Downward dog on the exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And one more time on your own. Letting your breath initiate the movement. Great, that looks nice, Deanne, good. And then downward dog, lovely. From dog pose, a little moving meditation. Walk your feet up to your hands, slow, slow, 1 step at a time. Once you get your feet up to the top of your hands, you'll find yourself in Uttanasana. I want you to bring your hands to your waists. Draw your elbows towards one another. Good. Draw your sternum forward. And then with strong legs on an in-breath, come all the way up to standing. And bring your arms down as you exhale. Good. So here's where the repetition is going to come in. We're going to start these very modified Surya Namaskars, kind of a different variation, all with hands behind the back, clasping fingers together. knuckles down. Good, so starting out just in a standing spinal extension. Knuckles down, inhale, anchor into your heels, lift up through your sternum. As you exhale, pull your right knee up, bring your hands to your heart. As you inhale, you're going to take a detour through warrior three, very slow, right leg back, hinge forward. And then when you exhale, find the floor underneath your right toes and bring your right knee down to the mat. Yeah, and this is where your two blocks will come in handy. A block on either side of you, about level with your hips. As you inhale, you'll look forward, lifting up through the anterior spine. And when you exhale, lift foot, Lisa. When you exhale, you'll take your hips back, straightening your left leg, flexing your left foot. Breathing in, glide forward, bending your left knee, lifting chest, lifting eyes, looking up. Exhale, draw hips back, just enough to straighten your left leg. Pull your left toes up off the floor. And then one more time, inhaling, settle the four corners of your left foot down to the mat, look forward. Draw back through the hips as you exhale, straightening the left leg. Beautiful. And then you'll breathe in, come back into that lunge. Fingertips come to the floor, pick your right knee up off the mat. And let's stay here for a full breath, getting a big stretch through the inner right leg. Excellent. And then you're going to step forward, right foot next to left foot. Woo! There you go. Bring your hands to your waist. Draw your elbows towards one another. Strong legs, grounded feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms down, Tadasana. Hands behind your back. Drop your knuckles. Inhale, sternum up, ears back. Second side, exhale, hands to your heart as you pick your left knee up. Exhale, make your way through warrior three, extending left leg back behind you. And then left toes find the floor, way back. Good, softly settle the left knee down to the mat. Very nice, good, Kristen. Hands to the blocks. Good, and then breathing in. Ribs rise up, side ribs lift. Breathing out, rock back, straightening your right leg, flexing the right foot. Good, and then two more times, please, gliding forward, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good work for the hammies. And exhale, rock back. Pull those toes up off the floor. One more time. Inhale forward. And exhale, rock back. Good. Nice, Delinda. And then come forward on the in-breath. Good. Fingertips come to the floor. Lift your back knee up. And elongate the inseam of the back leg. Push your inner right heel back. Left heel back, sorry, left heel back. Whatever leg that is, that's behind you, that one. Good. And then you'll step left foot forward next to right foot. Yeah, good. Very nice. Hands come to your waist. Draw your elbows together like you're holding onto a volleyball back there. And then up you go, breathing in. Anchor through your feet. If you get that head rush, no extra charge. Arms down. And then hands behind your back, breathing in, knuckles drop down, maybe arms lift away from the body just a little bit. Going back to the right foot, breathing out, right knee up, hands to your heart. Stabilize on your left hip, left leg. And then here we go. Come halfway down into warrior three, taking your right leg straight back and hover, just hover, 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 and then right toes find the floor. Good. Now, this time you're going to spin, bring your hands to the mat, spin your right heel down. You're going to take a quarter turn to the right for lateral lunges, moving into your right knee, right hip, and then gliding over into your left knee, left hip. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now, it's up to you. You can keep fingertips to the floor, or maybe bring your hands behind your back, opposite hands to opposite elbows, keeping your torso parallel to the floor. Good, relying a little more on the inner thighs, the AD adductors. Great. And after your 3rd round, you're going to come back into your left knee, left hip. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Spin up onto the ball of your right foot so you can square the hips. Reach back through your inner right leg. And then you'll step forward, right foot next to left foot. Hands to your waist. Anchor down and then rise up slowly. Full breath to come up. Arms down, Tadasana, exhale. Hands behind your back. Inhale, draw the arms down, maybe lift away from your back slightly. Put your weight in your right foot as you exhale, hands to your heart, bring your left knee up. Inhale, glide through warrior 3. Good, take the left foot back and then find the floor underneath your left toes. Then left heel comes down. Give yourself a quarter turn to the left for these lateral lunges, moving into the left knee, left hip first. Great, and then over to the right. Yep, hands can come behind the back. That's great, Maxine, good. It's nice to have that for a little more shoulder extension. Side to side, 3 times. Don't rush. When you get to your 3rd one, you're going to come back into your right knee, right hip. Fingertips will then come to the floor on either side of your right foot. Spin your right toes forward. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. Find that lunge. Find that length through the inner leg. And then step your left foot forward. Excellent. We just got 1 more to go. And we're going to combine these and add 1 more for the sequence. Hands to your waist, elbows draw towards one another, and then like you've got a helium balloon underneath your sternum, slowly rise up. Arms down as you exhale. Hands behind your back. Inhale, lifting side ribs up. Hands to your heart, right knee up. Inhale through warrior 3, standing strong on that left leg. Right leg extends straight back behind you. And then right toes touch the floor. Good. Come down onto your right knee. We're going to do that half Hanumanasana 1 time. Right knee down. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, hips go back. Flex your left foot. Pull the toes up off the floor. Inhale, come forward into this low lunge once again. Pick your right knee up off the mat. Spin your right heel down. And let's make a quarter turn to the right. 1 round of lateral lunges going into your right knee, right hip. And then coming into your left knee, left hip. Bring your hands to your blocks. Turn your left toes forward. Keep your right heel down. Breathing in, look forward. And as you exhale, straighten your left leg. Bow down over your left knee. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, bend your left knee, look forward, fingertips to your blocks. And then exhale, straighten the left leg, bowing over left knee. 1 more time, breathing in, sinking left sit bone down, lifting sternum up, and then exhale, straightening left leg. Let's pause here for 2 deep breaths. Pull your outer left hip back for me. And as you do that, root down through your inner left heel. Beautiful. And then breathe in, bend your left knee, look forward, come up onto the ball of your right foot, and step forward as you exhale. Well done, Gina. You haven't lost a thing. Bring your hands to your waist. It's so good to see you again. Hands to your waist, elbows come towards one another. Inhale, rise up. This is it. Last one, last repetition. Arms come down. Exhale, Tadasana. Hands behind your back. Inhale, spinal extension. Look up. Put your weight in your right leg. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bring your left knee up. Find that balancing for just a moment. And then here we go. Warrior 3. Steady and strong on that right leg. Left leg goes back. And then toes come to the ground. Knee settles down to the floor. Good. One round of the Ardha, the half Hanumanasana. Hands to your blocks. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, hips draw back, pick those right toes up off the floor, flex the foot. Inhale, bend your knee, come forward once more. Now you can lift your back knee up, spin your left heel down, and we'll do one round of lateral lunges, moving into your left knee, left hip. And then coming into your right knee, right hip. Good. Turn your right toes forward. Bring your fingertips or your blocks to either side of your right foot. And breathing in, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, straighten your right leg, bow over your right knee. Good. 2 more times, please, for a total of 3. Inhale, smooth and steady like water. Right? Vata, so dry, so brittle. Make this just like juicy, watery fluid. Yeah, pump that synovial fluid through the joints. Inhale as you bend the knee and look forward. Exhale, good. Bow over the leg. Excellent. Now after your last one, you're going to stay with your head down. Good. Pull your outer right, right hip back. Yeah, right hip back. Outer right hip back. Like I got a little hook in your hip crease. Pulling the hip back, but yet anchoring down through the inner right heel. Find those 2 opposing actions. Find that Hatha Yoga. Beautiful. Now, what I'm going to have you do is come up onto the ball of the back foot. Bend your right knee. Glide forward. You're going to step back to downward dog. Ooh la la. Great. So what I'd like you to do in downward dog is take one of your blocks and slide it up carefully between your thighs, between the AD adductors. Good. So the block's going long ways. Great. And then I want you to really hug the block with your thighs. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Fire up those inner thigh muscles. Hug and squeeze. And then as you're squeezing the block, I want you to spin the block towards the wall behind you. So you find that felt sense of the internal rotation of your thighs. And as you find that internal rotation to your thighs, look to your feet and reach down through your inner heel. Reach towards the floor through your inner heels. So you have 3 instructions there. Squeeze the block, spin the block, and then lengthen the inseam of your legs. Terrific. And then if you will, please, come down to your knees. You can lose the block. We'll come back to it in a moment. Set the block to the side. Bring your knees together and your ankles together. Keep your toes tucked under, please, as though you were going to pop into dog pose. But what I'm going to have you do is come into broken toe pose. So sink your hips back onto your heels. Good. Good, good, good. And then look from side to side. See that you can get like the pads of all your toes spread out onto the mat as best you can. Great. And then you've got choices, right? You can always keep your fingertips to the floor out in front of you. Take a little heat off the knees and heat off of the feet, or walk your hands up onto your thighs and bring your hands to your heart. Keep drawing those inner ankle bones towards one another. Move your jaw. Feel your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Excellent. Bring your hands to the floor. Very nice, everyone. Good. Lift your hips up off of your heels. Rest the tops of your feet onto the mat and drop into child's pose, Balasana. Knees can be together. Take the knees wide, whatever suits your low back, whatever suits your frame and your feelings. Kristen, I can't tell if that's a dog or a mighty big cat. Thank you. Oh, lovely. Oh, blessed, blessed dog. All right, great. And then if you'll walk your hands back onto your mat and lift yourself up. You're going to come into Virasana now. And so in Virasana, I'm going to encourage you. I know some of you probably can take your tush, your hips straight down to the floor between your ankles. And if that suits you today, that's great. I'm going to put a block. We're going to be here for a few minutes. So I'm going to put a block underneath my sitting bones. If for any reason, this is a real screamer for the knees or the ankles, definitely get out of this shape. Obviously, if you can't get out of discomfort, get out of the pose, as the saying goes. So you just sit in a comfortable position for you. That can even be up on the chair for all I care. Go for it. Make yourself feel good. So then from Virasana or whatever seated shape you're in, take a look from side to side, spread your toes out onto the mat. See if you can get some space between each and every toe. Excellent. And then what I like to do, those of you who are in Virasana, hero's pose, is take my hands over the front of the tops of my knees and kind of like pull back, almost like I'm pulling the skin of my shins up and over the knees. It feels kind of good. Okay, and then we're going to bring left fingertips to the floor. A block might come in handy here if the floor feels far away. I'm going to have you take your right arm straight up. So we're closing out much in the same way we began. Right arm can stay straight up, or you can reach over the right ear. Good. And then wherever you go, either arm straight up or arcing over to the left, I want you to bring your right hand behind your head, bending your elbow. And then draw your elbow back and rest your head into your hand. Like really let your head push back into your hand. And now notice if your right sitting bone is levitating. So I want you to anchor down through that sit bone, drill it down, root it down into the block or the floor, whatever your throne of choice is. And then I'd also have you draw your low belly in slightly, so there's no exaggerating of the lumbar curve. Excellent. And take your right arm straight up, find that vertical line. Come up onto your left fingertips and pull yourself up. Bring your right arm down. Good. Second side. Right fingertips to the floor, just beyond your right foot. Left arm starts by just reaching straight up. You can stay here or begin to arc your spine, side bending over to the right. And then wherever you go, you're going to bend your left elbow, bring your left hand behind your head, and then drop your head into your hand. Starting our practice and sitting shapes to get as much of our body onto the floor, grounding onto the floor as possible without lying down. And ending the practice in the same way. Getting the lower limbs really in touch with the mat, the earth element. Now take your left arm straight up. Good. And slowly pull yourself up and left arm down. Okay, so we're going to come into an open twist. So you're going to bring your right knee up and set your right foot on the floor just to the inside of your left knee. This is if you're in your asana. If you're in a cross-legged position, don't sweat it. Or I mean, you could still do this, but have your left foot, your left leg crossed in more of a Janu Shirshasana shape. So open twist means we're going to turn away from the bent knee. So left fingertips to the floor. I'm going to place a block behind me because the floor feels a little far away. Left fingertips are hand to the floor. I want you to take your right arm straight up. Good. Now pause here for just a moment. Let's find this Hatha Yoga again, right? The union of opposing actions. Outer right hip is moving down. Energy is down, down, down. Right ribs on up. Energy is moving up. Okay? Big breath in. And when you exhale, you're going to bring your right elbow to the inside of your right knee. Good. Now your sternum and ribs are going to turn to the left. Left shoulder rolls back. And then you're going to turn your head to the right and look out beyond your right fingertips. Excellent. Now what I want to be taking place here in the knee and the arms, I want a little push-pull action. Push your knee into your elbow and push back with your elbow. Get some action through the inner thigh. Notice if your right hip is sliding forward. Keep drawing that outer hip down. Very nice. Good, and then unwind. And we'll change sides. So if you're in Virasana, very gently, place your right knee and shin to the floor once more. Spread your toes. Pick your left knee up. Settle your left foot onto the mat. Find all four corners of your left foot. Right fingertips come to the floor or some arrangement with a block. Left arm up and just pause here. Lifting up from the left ribs, anchoring down through the left hip. Taking a full breath in. And when you exhale, the left elbow comes just to the inside of the left knee. Keep your sternum lifted up out of your belly. Turn, turn, turn to the right. Right shoulder rolls back like you're trying to line your right shoulder up behind your left shoulder. And then turn your head and look out beyond your left fingers. Find that little push-pull, that little tug of war between left knee, left elbow. Yeah, awesome. Well done, Colorado. Looking good out there. Colorado trio representing strong today on the screen. Wonderful. And then on an inhalation, unwind, pull yourself back to center. Good. Yay. And then come down off your block if you're on one and have a seat on the floor. Very nice. Set your block to the side. And then we're going to come into Janu Shirshasana, right? So you're going to I want you to take your left foot forward, your left leg forward. Right knee bends, bring your foot to the floor, to the inside of your left thigh, and then drop your right knee out to the right. Now here's where I'm going to have you employ a block and potentially a strap, if you have one. So if left leg is forward, right knee is bent, and right knee is dropping out to the side, you're almost like you're in tree pose, right? What I want you to do is take a block, if you have one, and stack it right up at the sole of your left foot, right? So just, not really providing a whole lot other than, important, a felt sense of your left foot in contact with something. Again, kind of just, grounding the circuitry. And then you're going to have your strap. I'm going to have you loop your strap around the block. Hold that block against your foot. So the block is tall. Holding onto the strap like reins, breathe in, lift yourself up, sternum up, ears over shoulders. As you exhale, walk your hands down the strap, and I hold onto the strap. Some of you will want to take your hands around the block. I want you to pull the block into your left foot and root the four corners of your left foot into the block. Good, just gonna stay a few breaths on each side. If you practice this again throughout the week, and I know you will, right? You could always do this with your foot against the wall. Really nice to have that support of contact. Great. Left shoulder back just a little bit. Sternum lining up over leg. Good. Nice, nice, Sonia. Excellent. And then you can relinquish the strap, slowly walk your hands up either side of your left leg. Then using your right hand underneath your right knee, pull your right knee up. Stretch your right leg down onto the mat. And using your left hand under your left knee, pull your left knee up. Good. Bring your left foot to the floor, let your left knee drop down to the side, and here we go. Set yourself up, put the block at the sole of your right foot. Loop your strap around the block. Inhale, lift. And then walk your hands down the strap as you exhale. Good. Take your time getting into this. Janu Shirshasana. Looks good, Deanne. Nice, brother. Good. Right shoulder back just a little bit. Excellent adjustments, everyone. Find the four corners of that foot against the block. Notice if you're favoring one side over the other. Lovely. And then slowly walk your hands up either side of that leg. Good. So I'm going to have you keep your left knee down. Just pull your right knee up. And then bring your left knee up so both knees are bent and feet are on the floor. And then if you've got two blocks, bring your blocks to your outer hips, just on either side of your hips. And you're going to roll onto your back and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So once you get onto your back, then you'll drop your knees open, bring the soles of your feet together. And this is where your blocks can come in handy. You can kind of nestle the blocks underneath your thighs or your outer knees for a little support. And then bring one hand to your low belly, one hand to your low ribs. And just follow the movement of your breath. Notice if your breath travels as far as your hands. Observe if your breath moves predominantly underneath one hand or both. Listen for the sound of your breath. and listen for the sound of the beating of your heart. Listen closely for the sound of any gurgling or murmuring in the body. And bring your hands down to your outer legs. And with just a little nudge, one at a time, pull your right knee up. And draw your left knee up. I want you to grab one of your blocks and then bring your knees to your chest. Move slow. Slide that block between your thighs, going long ways once again. And then send your heels to the ceiling and squeeze that block with your thighs. Remember the instructions from Downward Dog. Squeeze the block and then spin the block. Turn your thighs, find that internal rotation in your femurs. So it's like you're spinning the block towards the foot of your mat. And then lengthen up through the inseam of each leg. Push up through your inner heel. That's excellent, good. Nice, Delinda. Great, Maxine. Good. Hug. Gently spin and lengthen up. Beautiful. And then knees to chest, please. Remove the block. We're going to take about a 6.5, 7 minute Shavasana. No need to rush through this. And then we're going to sit up for a little bit of breathing and then call it a day. So Shavasana is the shape of your choice, right? Classically, on the floor, arms at your sides, palms turned up, stretched out on the length of your mat. We do like our comforts here in the West, so you want to use bolsters, you grab your blankets, put on your fuzzy socks, maybe take your legs up the wall, or throw your feet and legs over an ottoman. What the hell? Climb up onto the sofa. And then I want you to drop in. 1 or 2 deep breaths, just finding that transition from the activity of the practice, the gentle shaking of the snow in the snow globe, stimulating of prana, and beginning to let everything settle. Bones drop. Muscles and tissues drop. Eyes drop deeper into their sockets. Tongue drops away from the roof of the mouth. Bottom teeth drop away from top teeth. And you rest. Begin to take some deeper breaths. And begin to move your fingers and your toes. And stretch your arms and your legs in any shape or direction that your space allows. And then bend your knees, set your feet to the floor, visualize your pathway to sitting. And then once you have it, make it so. Come on up. And we're going to spend the last couple of minutes with Nadi Shodhanam, alternate nostril breathing, very grounding breath for vata. Requires a little bit of concentration, which is good for vata's windy and easily distracted erratic mind. So once you find yourself settled into your seat, bring your right hand up, place the pad of your thumb and ring finger against the bridge of your nose. And so that we begin together, and then you can go at your pace, of course. Let's exhale whatever we're holding on to in the lungs, in the mind. And then we'll take a deep breath in through both nostrils. Sealing the right and exhaling from the left. Inhale left. Seal the left and exhale right. Inhale right. And exhale left. Keep rolling, breathing in left. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. And breathing out left. Good. We'll take 3 more rounds. Don't rush. Remember the rules of engagement. No rushing, no hurrying, no scurrying. Finish at your own pace and then let yourself settle. Eyes closed, heart open, ears open, mind open. Bring your palms together, place the base of your thumbs to your forehead for balanced mind. Slide your fingertips down to your lips. Balanced breath, balanced expression and communication. And then place your hands to your heart for balanced heart. Thank you so much for joining me and the others on the screen this morning. Appreciate you all for making the time for yourselves and for the online community. Thank you. Before you pop off, there was some conversation about bread this morning before class. If you want some of those tips and some baking bread books, they are in the chat. I think there's a couple of links as well that Eric and Maxine provided. So thank you all so much. Have a lovely Sunday and a great week ahead. And I'll be sending out the link to the class later this evening.
Thank you.